Imagine the Pacific Ocean under a crimson flag, the Japanese Empire unchallenged from Hawaii to Australia, and the United States reeling from its first major defeat in World War II. A single battle, Midway, would have rewritten the course of history. Now, picture it differently. The Japanese carriers emerge victorious. Entire squadrons of American planes are destroyed, decks erupt in fire, and the Pacific Fleet lies shattered. Could the US have recovered? Could Japan have changed the balance of the entire war? Today, we step into that shadow of history. It's a sweltering morning over the Pacific. Midway Atoll, a tiny dot of sand and coral, sits almost forgotten in the vast ocean. But today, it is the center of the world. Japan has scored victory after victory. Malaya, Singapore, the Philippines. Confidence pulses through Tokyo, and Admiral Yamamoto believes he can deliver the decisive blow to the United States Navy. Across the Pacific, American forces are regrouping. The carriers USS Enterprise, Hornet, and Yorktown are their last line of defense. Intelligence has revealed parts of Japan's plan, but only fragments. Every officer and sailor knows that a single mistake could cost them everything. On the Japanese side, Admiral Yamamoto, meticulous but hubristic, and Vice Admiral Nagumo, tasked with executing a plan that relies on perfect timing. Their carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, are fully loaded with planes ready to strike. On the American side, Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, calm and calculating, relying on a network of codebreakers who have cracked Japanese communications. His carriers are fewer but desperate to survive. Every move is a gamble. The Pacific is a chessboard of steel and fire. A single wrong step could destroy a fleet or end an empire. In our alternate timeline, Japanese reconnaissance planes spot the American carriers first. A single sighting at dawn, 3 carriers, small but deadly, cruising in a vulnerable formation. Dive bombers launch. The camera pans low over the water as planes scream toward the targets. The American decks are chaos incarnate, planes refueling, bombs armed, sailors scrambling. The first strikes hit the Hornet, explosions rip through hangars, fire spreads uncontrollably, smoke blots out the sun. For the American pilots taking off, it's a desperate flight into inferno. Some climb only to be met by anti-aircraft fire. Others manage to strike Japanese ships, but losses are catastrophic. Imagine the Yorktown, once a proud symbol of American power, now burning, listing to port. Smoke rises like a dark column against the blue sky. Sailors jump into the ocean. Some survive, some do not. On the Japanese carriers, crews work frantically to recover planes and launch counterstrikes. But even in victory, the tension is palpable. Yamamoto knows the US will rebuild, and every hour counts. By nightfall, the US Pacific Fleet is crippled. The balance of power in the Pacific has shifted dramatically. With American carriers destroyed, Japan consolidates the Pacific, the Philippines are reinforced, the Aleutians are secure, and plans are drawn to threaten Hawaii itself, potentially cutting the US from its vital western territories. In Washington, panic simmers. Roosevelt convenes his top generals. How do we fight back when the Pacific is lost? The American strategy of island hopping, which historically turned the tide, is delayed. Supplies, morale, and planning are all affected. The camera pans across maps, showing Japanese control extending from the Philippines to Midway, even toward Hawaii. The empire's shadow seems unstoppable. Victory at Midway would have consequences far beyond the Pacific. Europe. The US can't divert as many resources, delaying operations in North Africa and Italy. China. The Japanese tighten their grip, suppressing resistance movements. In the colonies of Southeast Asia, people brace for harsher occupation. Trade routes shift. Civilians and soldiers alike endure longer, more brutal conditions. History itself seems to bend toward a Japanese-dominated world. But war is not only about ships and maps. Consider the young American pilots, barely out of training, facing impossible odds over open water. Imagine Japanese sailors on deck, exhausted but exhilarated, knowing they've struck a decisive blow. The island's populations, Midway, the Philippines, and beyond, experience occupation and uncertainty. Families live under curfews, communities change forever. These human consequences give the alternate history its emotional depth. Midway teaches us how thin the line between victory and defeat really is. In reality, intelligence, luck, and timing favored the US. But in this alternate history, a single successful reconnaissance flight could have turned the tide for Japan. Victory and defeat are fragile. Every battle is a story of courage, chance, and human decision. History isn't predetermined. It's a mosaic of choices, and sometimes the smallest one makes the biggest difference. A Japanese victory at Midway would have reshaped the modern world. Empires might have lasted longer, wars might have extended, and the map of the Pacific could look entirely different. Yet, it's a reminder that history is never inevitable. Every moment, every decision, every split-second choice matters. If you enjoyed exploring this road not taken, subscribe for more cinematic dives into history's most dramatic what-ifs. From battles that almost changed the world to empires that almost survived, we bring history to life, one story at a time.